Boker Tov, Chaverim. Welcome, friends. We're going to be getting started in about little less than half an hour at 10:30. So until then, feel free to schmooze, welcome each other, greet each other, say hello, offer some wishes of Shabbat Shalom this morning, and we'll see you in about 25-ish minutes. Shabbat Shalom.
Okay. Are we good? Hey, beloved people that we adore so much that are watching from far away. Yeah, services start at 10:30.
Sorry about that.
Wanna
Go get a cup of coffee.
Go get a cup of coffee and relax a little, or take a nap, whatever works. Okay.
See ya.
Love you.
go. Hi, everybody. Thanks for
Hello.
joining us. For
Sorry.
Abby. We'll be starting soon. See you soon, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Boker Tov and Shabbat Shalom. It's so wonderful to have you all here with us for our Shabbat morning services. We're going to enjoy this wonderful moment where we have two members of our community, two amazing young women becoming Benot Mitzvah today. And of course, having a community Shabbat experience that we can all enjoy, all celebrate, and help all of us go into this day of Shabbat with that sense of rest and connection. We start today with words of Hine Ma Tovu Manayim, which can be found on page 1 of the prayer packet that should be in your chat. Join with me. Hine Ma Tovu Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tovu Manayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good and pleasant it is to be together on this day with those words of Hine Ma Tov. A few pieces of being in this hybrid virtual service-like world. We have some amazing individuals here in our community, in our space today. You'll be maybe hearing a little bit of the extra voices enriching our space together. And we also have our chat open. While Rabbi Ruth and I should maybe introduce myself. I'm Rabbi Dana Benson, and I'm joined today by Rabbi Ruth Zlotnick. You'll see her in a few moments. And throughout the service today, we won't be able to see the chat, but we're going to save the chat so our students can see it afterwards. So as we go through the service, as we want to share messages of great job or Yasher Koach or Mazel Tov, feel free to put those into the chat. And that will be a great way so that we can share it with our friends and with our amazing students today. We also encourage you to stand or sit in spirit. We'll be mentioning that throughout the service. If it's easier to stay seated at your computer, feel free to do so. If it's meaningful for you to stand, do what is comfortable for you. And now, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to invite up a tutor who has been tutoring many of our students this year, including one of the ones on our bima today. We have Danielle Price leading us in the Nisim B'chol Yom, our daily blessings for our miracles.
We continue with the Nisim B'chol Yom, our daily miracles. This series of prayers can help remind us of the small things that we might take for granted. We can use these blessings to add awareness to our lives of the many miracles we see around us. We will begin each line together, chanting in Hebrew, but please feel free to end each line in Hebrew or English, as is your choice. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, atah asher natan lesech vivina, lehavin ben yom uvein laila. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who lifts up the fallen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, rokah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who strengthens our steps. Yesharumim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir she'na me'enai, utnuma me'afapai. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who made me in the image of God. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, sha'asani bat chorin. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me a Jew. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, who crowns Israel with splendor. It is the tradition of Temple Beth Am to add one more blessing for a miracle unique in your life. We will begin again with the first part in Hebrew, and then please add a blessing or miracle that is important to you. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, to bring in rain for our gardens.
So much, Danielle, for leading us in those morning blessings, just getting us kicked off to the start of the 100 blessings that our rabbis recommend we say daily. Beautiful gratitude practice, if I say so myself. We continue on the bottom of page 6 with the Baruchu. If it is your custom, we invite you to rise or rise in spirit. Join with us. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai da dai 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 dai. Yai da dai 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 dai. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed. Hamevorach, hamevorach leolam vaed. You may be seated if it is your custom. And now it is my distinct honor to invite forth one of our Tu B'not Mitzvah today, Lila Brown, who's going to lead us in the words of Yotzer Or, which can be found right there on the next page, page 7.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer or uvarei Hosheh, Oseh shalom uvarei et hakol. Hami'ir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha brachamim. Uftuvu mahadesh behol yom tamid ma'aseha v'reshit. Ma'rabu ma'aseha Adonai, kulam b'hokma asita, mal'ah ha'aretz kinyaneha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shavach ma'aseh yadeha va'al ma'orei or she'asita yefa'aruha selah. Or hadash al Tzion ta'ir v'nizkeh hulanu mahara la'uro. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'marot.
Thank you so much, Lila. So beautifully led. She'll continue on the next page, leading us page 8 with Ahava Rabbah.
Ahava harabav tanu Adonai Eloheinu Hemla Gidula Vitera Hamalta Aleinu Bavor Avotenu Veimotenu Shabatu veha, avotenu ve'imotenu. Vahat lamdem hukehayim, kentehonenu utlamdenu. Hamrahem, rahem aleinu. Vetain beli beinu lehavinu haskil, lishmua lilmodu lelamed, lishmor velasot. Ukayem et kol divrei, Talmud Torah teha be'ahava.
Ve'ha'erenenu b'toratecha, v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, ve'yached levavenu le'ahava u'yira et shemecha, v'lo nevosh, v'lo nikalem, v'lo nikashel, le'olam va'ed, ki v'shem kodshecha, hagadol v'hanora batachnu, nagila v'nismecha, nagila v'nismecha v'yeshuatecha. Ve'havienu le'shalom me'arba kanfot ha'aretz ve'tolichenu kol memiut le'artzenu ki el poel Yeshuot ata uvanu v'acharta v'keravtanu l'shimcha hagadol sela sela be'emet lehodot lecha uliachedcha uliachedcha be'ahava. Baruch atah Adonai havocher me'amo Yisrael be'ahava. With those words of love in our mouth, on our tongue, in our heart, we continue with the words of Shema that remind us of the unity that exists between us, between each other, and with the divine as well. So if it is your custom to rise, I invite you to do so as we turn to the next page, page 9, for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Shem kevod malchuto. Leolam vaed, leolam varuch. Shem kevod malchuto. Leolam vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. You may be seated. We continue on the lower half of that page as Lila continues to lead us with the Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nefshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzvah hayom levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam Beshivteha, beveteha, uvlekteha, vaderech, ushofbeha, uvkumeha, ukshartam leot al yadeha, v'hayu letotafot bein eineha, uktavtam al mezuzot beiteha, uvishareha, laman tiskeruhu, Va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim Elohehem. Ani Adonai Elohehem, asher hotzeiti ethem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lehem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohehem.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Thank you so much, Lila, for leading us so beautifully. And you can go back to your spot if you'd like as we continue forward, or you can stay here if you want. As we continue forward with the words of Micha Mocha, the words that our ancestors sang as they went through the Red Sea, as they felt that taste of freedom. I know for me, as I continue to see the sun shine outside and go even later into the evening, for me that has been such a hopeful, joyful piece of nature. And so for whatever it is for you that brings that sense of hope, of joy, of freedom, I invite you to think of that as we sing together words of Micha Mocha, and please, feel free to dance. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele Adonai imloch leolam va'ed shir achadasha shibchu geulim leshimcha al sfatayam yachad kulam hodu vehimlichu veyamru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Back to the top. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedar b'kodesh, b'kodesh. And now again, it is my distinct pleasure to invite up our other bat mitzvah today, Abby Lawrence, who's going to lead us in the Amidah. It starts on page 11. I invite you to rise, as your custom to do so.
Adonai sefatitita ufia gita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch hu atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei
הגבור ונהרה אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל וזרהר אסתר אבי מאוד, ומגולם לבני בניהם, למען שמו ביחווה, מלא עוזר ומשיר מגן. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Vezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayin kol tarav l'shia, Marid hatal, Mechayin hayim vehesed, Mechayin hakol berachamin ramim, Somef noflim ofe olim, Umatir asirim, Kayem el numato li shene afar mi hamo haba guvurot umi domela melimemid umachayem umatzir Yeshua v'neheman atah lechachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayen hakol.
On page 13, the Kedusha. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, keshem shemakdishim oto bishmei marom, kakatuv al yad neviecha, vekara ze el ze ve'amar, kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Meloch ol haaretz, kevodo. Adir, adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, adir shimcha bechol haaretz, Baruch kevod Adonai, mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu, hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu vehu Yashmienu, berachamav leinei kol chai, ani Adonai Elohechem, imloch Adonai leolam, Elohai Tzion, Ledor vador, Hallelujah. Ledor vador nagid godlecha, ulenetzach netzachim kedushatcha nakdish. V'shivacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. And now Abby will lead us on page 15 with the Kedushat Hayom.
Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu retzer v'nuchatenu kachenu b'mitzvoteha v'tanhakenu v'torateha sabenu mituveha v'samchaenu b'shuateha v'toler b'enu le'adevha be'emet v'ani le'enu Adonai Eloheinu b'yahava v'rotzon Shabbat kodshecha v'nartuhu v'Yisrael mekadesh shemecha Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Thank you so much, Abby, for those beautiful prayers and for leading us into the Amidah. We now take a few moments in silent prayer. You can either use the words on the page through page 18, of course, the meditations of your own heart. And when you've completed those prayers and meditations, I invite you to be seated if you chose to stand. We'll join back together with song in just a few moments. Le dor vador, le dor vador, le dor vador, nagid God lecha, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha nagdish. Ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, ledor vador, nagid God lecha. Ledor vador, ledor vador. Ledor vador nagid God lecha, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha, kedushatcha nakdish, mipinu lo yamush, mipinu lo yamush, leolam, leolam vaed. One more time, ledor vador, ledor vador. Ledor vador nagid God lecha, ledor vador. Ledor vador, ledor vador nagid God lecha, ulenetzach netzachim, ulenetzach netzachim, kedushatcha, kedushatcha nakdish, mipinu lo yamush, mipinu lo yamush, leolam, leolam vaed.
Vador, Vador, indeed. This beautiful, joyous song that we just sang speaks about going from generation to generation, door, Lador. And certainly that sentiment helps lead us to this moment now, our Seder Kriyat HaTorah, our service for reading Torah, when from the hands of the older generation into the hands of the younger generation, we will place Torah. But we celebrate Torah not just as a piece that connects the generations within a family, but also the generations within a community, within a people. And as our young adults will take hold of Torah, they receive it not just from their parents and grandparents, but with love from the community that surrounds them. And so I am thrilled to invite Sandra Barnett, who will read a passage symbolizing this transfer of Torah to the next generation with love from our community.
Gift of Torah. And
And so now we turn to the moment of giving Torah. And it looks like, Rabbi Dana, we're going to do a reading in person as well, or just the handing down?
Yeah.
Okay,
Totally.
terrific. And this is, how you know that this is not a pre-recorded program, but actually live prayer. And so we are ready then for the handing down of Torah, this moment when our young adults, Lila and Abby, will receive Torah from the hands of their grandparents into the hands of their parents. So it is an honor to invite Leah Lawrence and Judy Wallens, Lyle Brown and Doris Brown, as well as the wonderful parents of our Benot Mitzvah, for them to come forward as well. And so David and Bee and Yumi and as well as Randy and Linda will come. And if you would like, we invite you to rise or rise in spirit as we continue with the passing of Torah, page 20.
Ein kamocha b'Elohim Adonai, ein k'ma'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, umemsheltecha lechol dor vador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed, Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. All right, as we squish together with lots of love in our two bimot, we sing and we hand down the Torah generation to generation. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Udvar Adonai Yerushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael, bikdushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Galul Adonai iti, uneromimav Shemo yachdav. And families, I invite you to be seated as we continue with the undressing of the Torah. Lecha Adonai hagedula vehagevura vehatiferet le'anetzach vehahod. Ki chol v'shamayim uvaretz, ki chol v'shamayim uvaretz. Lecha Adonai hamlacha, lemitnase lechol lerosh, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam obmed.
We turn now to our reading of Torah, but before we chant from these words of Shalach Lecha, I am so grateful to invite Abby Lawrence forward, who will share words of wisdom, the Torah of her soul. Abby, will you share your Devar Torah with us?
Have you ever wanted to try something, but then you didn't do it because you're scared or you let your worries get to yourself? My portion is the shalach. My part of the portion is when the spies came back from checking out what is now Israel. 12 spies went, and when they came back, 10 of them said it would be not possible to conquer, for there are people that make us look like grasshoppers. The 2 of the spies believed there was a chance to conquer the land. Either no one heard them or they didn't believe them because everyone except those 2 spies and Moses freaked out. Turns out, being afraid of giant people made God mad, because God then decided everyone but the 2 spies would die in the wilderness. Those 10 spies let their fear control them, and that fear caused even more fear. I'm not saying that the other 2 spies didn't fear the giant people that lived there, they just didn't let control them. And that is why I'd like to focus on this concept of fear today. Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, who lived in Brooklyn during the 20th century, believed that the emissary sin was misleading the people and themselves. Rabbi Schneerson said that they would mislead the people because they feared that when they enter Israel, they will be so busy with everything else that in their life that they will have progressively less time and less energy for the service of God. Rabbi Moses ben Nachman believed that their sin was the tone in which they reported to the people, which ultimately scared the people. Both rabbis believed that the 10 spies were scared. In my opinion, they feared what would happen if they tried to conquer the land. This reminds me of a story from my childhood. When I was a baby and my parents found out I was allergic to sweet potatoes. Later, when I was 8, I found out that your allergies can change over time and that there's a chance I wasn't allergic anymore. I was so scared of what could happen, though, that for 2 years I still avoided sweet potatoes. And if I didn't accidentally have those sweet potato latkes at a friend's house, I would have never touched one to this day. As you know, June is Pride Month, and fear plays a big role in the story of LGBTQ rights. I can imagine there's a lot of fear telling the people closest to that you're part of the LGBTQ community, but you can't let that fear keep you in the closet. I hope we can learn from the Torah portion that we shouldn't let fear control us and not let the bad thoughts win. Don't be like those spies that only scared everyone with their own fear. Be like Joshua and Caleb, who thought we could do it, and spoiler, we did win our promised land. We don't know what exactly scared 10 of the spies, but Rabbi Schneerson and Rabbi Nachman knew they feared something. But whatever that fear was made God mad caused God to make the people wander for 40 years. We should remember that it's okay to feel fear, but not let it control us.
Beautiful. And what an important lesson, Abby, which I'm sure feels particularly relevant on the morning of your bat mitzvah when maybe there's a little fear there, but you're doing such a beautiful job. So thank you so much. And now we will turn to the chanting of Torah. And Abby will be chanting from, as I say, the Torah portion Shalach Lecha. That's Numbers chapter 13, starting in verse 25. For those of you who are joining us at home, there should be a booklet in the chat function that you can download. And meanwhile, let me just make sure that we're in the right place, which I am sure we are.
Going to invite Rachel Churchward forward to read the summary of the Torah portion
Yes,
as
you
well.
are. Yes,
So
you are.
Rachel, if you would like to, we have her in person, wonderful. So Rachel's going to come up and offer us words of summary of the Torah portion. Rabbi Ruth, would you like her to
Sure.
come over here? Or? All right, yeah,
That's
there
okay.
we
We
go.
can make this work. Come on over. That's okay.
Come on over. Welcome to Be My Shani. I love your dress. Here you go.
Thank you. Moses sends 12 spies to explore the land of Israel. 10 of them convince the people that it would be too difficult to conquer the land. God responds to their lack of confidence by punishing them with 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. The entire community raised its voice, and the people wept throughout the night. They railed against Moses and Aaron, saying, We would rather have died in Egypt than to have come here in this land to be fallen by a sword. Let us go back to Egypt. God told Moses to instruct the Israelites that upon entering the land, they are to give offerings to God and are to remember throughout all generations that strangers who enter their land shall be equal with them before God. There is one standard for everyone. At the end of the Pasha, God commands the Israelites to put fringes on the ends of their clothing, which led to the practice of wearing tzitzit.
This way has a big step.
Thank you so much. Now we're ready to hear those beautiful words of Torah chanted by Abby. So I'll invite Abby to come forward. And in addition, I'd like to invite her aunts Lucy and Rachel and her grandmothers Leah and Judy. And so I'll invite you all to come forward as Abby chants, as I say. Oh, and also Danielle Price is returning to Torah. Danielle, come on up. We have a special role called Gabai, which helps the Torah chanter to chant. And so we're so grateful to you, Danielle. If you'll come right here, I'll step over here so you all can stand by the blessing. And let's let Leah right in front, if that's okay.
Ta'amodna liora bat Gunter Lila Vilea bat Ori Viliora Veyehudit bat Avraham Visara Verachel Hana bat Ruven Veyehudit Le Aliyah Rishona. Baruch Ato Adonai Ham Barak Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Ham Barak Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bara banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah. Amen.
Vayashuvu mitor haaretz miketz arbaim yam vayachu vayavu el Moshe ve'el Haran ve'el kol hadar b'nei Yisrael el midbar paran kadesha vayeshivu otam davar et kol hadar var et peri haaretz vayisperu lo vayomru banu el haaretz asher shanatanu vegam zavat halev udavash he bezer pir'ah Ephes ki az ha'am hayoshev ba'eret va'eharim beturod gedolot me'od vegam ilidei hanak ra'enu sham Amalek Yoshev ba'eretz hanegev ve'hahiti ve'hayevusi ve'ha'emori Yoshev b'char ve'hakenani Yoshev el ha'am ve'al et hardain. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'ha'olam nata b'tokenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. And so I'll invite all of you, we'll keep this here, but I'll invite all of you to go back to your seats. Mazel tov, Leah. Once again, we're up on the bima. And once we have Leah come down, we'll invite Abby, your parents. And so it'll be wonderful to have David and Bee and Yumi to stand by your side, because we will be calling you a bat mitzvah for the very first time. So once we get Leah situated, we'll invite the parents on up, and you'll want to look at this, okay?
Hakol havu godel Eloheinu utnu kavod leTorah. Ta'amod habat mitzvah. Abigail Noah bat David vebela le'aliyah shniya.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher barhaban mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Now you'll chant.
Ve'as kalev et ha'am el Moshe ve'yamer alo na'aleh ve'ashnu otah ki yecholnu la ve'ha anashim asher lu imo amru lo nuchal la'alod el ha'am ki azak hu mimenu v'yatziu dibot ha'aretz asher taru ota el bnei Yisrael le'mor ha'aretz asher arvanu va lator ota eretz ochelet yoshvecha hi v'chol ha'am asher ra'enu betocha ansher midot.
Yasher koach. And if you'll do the blessing after Abby.
Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata betotenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. That was beautiful. And so I'll take the yacht from you. Danielle and I will get out of the way because in front of this open Torah, I have a feeling that your hearts are kind of full now and maybe you want to offer a blessing. You may want to go get the blessing. That's okay. And you may want to face, like, you know, the folks who love you and raised you, and really just such a beautiful job. And so this is the moment when we invite the parents who helped bring this child to Torah to share a few words of blessing. And I will get out of the way, Bay, if you'll just stand over there, facing.
Should I get to the mic?
Get a little closer to the
Okay.
mic would be great.
Without touching the Torah. Okay, I'm representing the three of us right now. Dearest Abigail, one of the things we've learned with you and your sister is that when you raise a child, you can offer support and values, but it is largely a matter of letting that child reveal herself, of getting to know her as she grows. Learning who you are is incredibly fun. You're hilarious, thoughtful, intense at times, and very, very interested in the world. We love talking with you, hearing your sometimes random thoughts about history and current events, and watching you confront obstacles with courage and grace. You've been through a lot already in life, and you've faced it all with honesty and wisdom. Beautiful girl, you can do hard things. Working towards today has been a big process. This bat mitzvah is unusual, of course, because of the pandemic and the fact that it's taking place over Zoom. But we want you to know that the thousands of people watching today, as well as the people here with us, are all present because they love you and support you and believe in you. You have that community behind you, and you have an ancient sacred tradition around you and within you to guide you as you move through life, and you always, always have us, your family, cheering you on. You have worked so hard in preparation for today, and we are so impressed with what you've accomplished. You are wearing your grandfather's talit, in which he had his bar mitzvah in 1954. And I'm going to quote him now. We are proud of what you've done, but more than that, we are proud of who you are. We love you beyond words.
And the perfect way to end a blessing is with a hug. That was just beautiful. Wonderful. And I'll invite you, Abby, to have your seat up here. And thank you all so much for sharing that beautiful prayer. And we believe that it's not only auspicious to share the blessings of a parent to a child when the Torah is open before us, but also the blessings of a community. And we know that there are those among us, even as we celebrate this beautiful Shabbat morning, who are in pain of body or of spirit. We know there are those who have been impacted by COVID-19, those who have been harmed at the hands of injustice, and those in our own lives, maybe ourselves, who are in need of a prayer for healing. So we invite you to share in the chat any names of anyone that you'd like to include in our prayer for healing. And with those of you who are gathered here today, would you like to call out the names of anyone that you'd like to include in our prayer for healing? Thankfully, this is a morning of wholeness and blessing, but we are holding everyone that you may have put into the chat or we may hold in our hearts in our Mishaberach for healing.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu Mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
May each and every one know a full and speedy recovery of body and of spirit. Okay, Lila, so the time has come. I'll invite you to go stand by Rabbi Dana because Lila will pick up the chanting where her partner Abby left off, chapter 14 of the book of Numbers. And it is such an honor to invite Lila's grandfather and uncle, Lyle Brown and Terrence Brown, to Torah for the Aliyah. So if you'll join Rabbi Dana and Lila too.
Ya'amod Tari ben La'av ben Lav bin Binyamin le'aliyah Shlishi.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Vatisa kol haidaha vayitnu et kolam vayivku ha'am balayla hahu vayilonu al Moshe v'al Aharon kol b'nei Yisrael vayomru alehem kol ha'edah Lumatnu ba'eretz Mitzrayim, oh, bamidbar hazeh, lumatnu. V'lamad Adonai mevi otanu el haaretz hazot linfol b'herev nashenu v'tafenu yihiyu lavaz alo tov lanu shuv mitzrayma vayomru ish el ahiv nitna rosh v'nashuva mitzrayma vayipol Moshe v'Aharon al pneihem lifnei kol kahal adat b'nei Yisrael.
Yasher Koach.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. This is so beautiful. And Lila,
Oh, bavakasha.
if you want to give your family members a hug, feel free to do so. Aw.
The hug is given. It is an honor to call Lila up to Torah for the very first time as a bat mitzvah. And I think it might be nice to have two people you know fairly well, Lila, your mom and dad, Randy Brown and Linda Wang, to join you by your side.
Ta'amod Laila bat Natan ben Lev le'ali. Oh, hakol avugelo de'hinu tnu kavod le'Torah. Ta'amod habat mitzvah Laila bat Natan ben Lev le'aliyah revi'i.
Baruch et Adonai hamvarah.
Baruch Adonai
Hamvarach li'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarah le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'Hoshua bin Nun v'Halev ben Yefuneh min hatarim et haaretz karu bigdehem vayomru el kol adat b'nei Yisrael lemor haaretz asher avarnu va latorota tova haaretz me'od me'od. Im hafetz banu Adonai v'hevi otanu el haaretz hazot unhana lanu eretz asher hiv zava halav udvash. Ach ba'Adonai al timrodu ve'atem al tir'u etam haaretz ki lachmeinu hem zar tzilam me'alehem va'Adonai itanu al tira'um vayomru kol haidah lirgom otam ba'avanim near vayomru Ukvod Adonai, Nir Bo'ohel Moed, El Kol B'nai Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayei olam nata b'tuheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And now, again, with our Torah open, Lila, I'm going to invite you to step back, and I'm going to get out of the way this time so that your parents, Randy and Linda, can offer their blessings over you on this day. And you can turn and look at them. That's probably a good thing.
Lila, 13 years ago today, you came into this world, and our lives have been immeasurably enriched by your presence. It has been such a joy and a privilege to witness your growth into the smart, funny, and fiercely independent young woman you have become. Today, we congratulate you on becoming Bat Mitzvah, an important milestone on the path to adulthood. You have worked hard under challenging circumstances to prepare for this day, and we are so proud of all you have accomplished. We hope this day will always remind you that you can achieve anything if you put your mind to it.
Lila, you are a part of a rich heritage, and we hope that you draw strength and a sense of community from your connection to Judaism. We are so grateful that we can share this day with our family, friends, and the wonderful Beth Am community. Although you can't see everyone now, know that they are here, supporting you and cheering you on today and always. Mom and I wish you much health, happiness, good friends, joy, and laughter in everything you do as you enter a new chapter in your life. We love you very much and are so proud of your wonderful achievement today.
Aww. And Lila, yeah, perfect. Don't even have to prompt these ones.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that beautiful blessing. And then, Rabbi Dana, if you don't mind just rolling up the Torah a little,
Yes.
because actually, Lila, we would love for you to share your words of wisdom, your Devar Torah. I believe Rabbi Dana has it over there.
Sorry about that.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Ferris Bueller. I'm sure many of you have heard this quote before, and remembering it reminded me of what I drew from this Torah portion. My Torah portion centers around the commandment to wear tzitzit on the corners of our garments. When he gave this command to the Israelites, Moses explained that they served as a reminder for you to recall all the commandments of God and carry them out. Rabbis believe this commandment to be so important that they continue to make and wear tzitzit even when blue dye could not be found, claiming that the fringe could still be made without it and that the mitzvah of wearing tzitzit is equal in importance to all of the commandments. I believe the theme of this particular portion is simply our obligation and devotion to God and the commandments as Jews, our duty to perform all of them symbolized in the tzitzit. Professor Yeshayahu Leibowitz states that the tzitzit reminded you not to wander astray, listening to only their heart and eyes, and of their religious obligations. This relates to an early rabbinic conversation that the fringes symbolize the people's relationship with God. They were a badge of freedom and liberation, as opposed to the badges placed upon Jews by the Nazis as well as in Egypt, which were meant to point them out as targets for people's hatred and brutality. I personally agree with his words and believe the fringes to be an essential part of Jewish life and that they should be worn with pride. In addition, I think in order for the tzitzit to effectively serve its purpose, slowing down and not rushing everything in life is crucial, hence the Ferris Bueller quote at the beginning. Taking time out of your day to remember the commandments or to de-stress and just enjoy life can make all the difference. Having goals and striving towards them is always important, but they shouldn't consume you so that you forget your duty to serve God. Tzitzit are only a reminder if you choose to acknowledge them. Given the lessons of this Torah portion, I pray that we might choose to slow down sometimes so as not to neglect or forget our responsibilities. Writing this speech gave me the opportunity to learn and find a deeper meaning in the seat, which I hope you found as well, as this is what I believe matters a lot in the end.
Oh, beautiful. And so we now turn to prayers because our Torah scrolls are still before us. And so thank you so much, Lila. That was just beautiful. And so for our prayer for our congregation, I'd like to invite Cecilia Zapata. I believe you're here. Wonderful. You can come right on over here.
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Amen. Beautiful. You're hired for next week, too. No, just kidding. And we're also very excited that Eliana Brown will read our prayer for country.
O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen.
Amen. You're also hired for next week.
I think she just has a little bit more.
Oh, sorry.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shenatan lanu hizdamna la'taken ha'olam.
And Eliana, you get bonus mitzvah points for the Hebrew, actually. That was awesome. And so the time has come now to lift and dress Torah. And so I invite Ellie, Abby's sister, and Jeff Guberman, Abby's uncle, to lift and dress Torah. I invite those who are in our presence to please rise. And you at home can rise or rise in spirit.
Ta Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Yehalelu et Shem Adonai ki nishkav shemo levado. Ki lekach tov natati lahem Torati tazovu etz chaim hi lemahazikim ba vetom hecha meushar derachecha darchei noam vechol netivotecha shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
Seated. And now, it is an honor to invite Ricardo Wagner and Janet Newman to read a summary of the Haftarah portion. And it's not clear to me, are you here? They
Here, but we are in Zoom.
Thank you. Thank you so very much to Ricardo and to Janet. And now Lila will begin our Haftarah chanting from this very famous story from the book of Joshua, chapter 2. It should be in the chat. She'll do the blessings before, and we'll start with chapter 2, verse 19. Then Abby will pick up from there.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar minviim tovim v'ratzah v'divreihem ha'anemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Aboher Batorah Uf Moshe Avdo Uf Yisrael Amo Uvinvi'ei Ha'emet V'tzedek V'haya kol Asher yatzeh Midoteh Veiteh Hahutza Damo V'rasho V'anachnu Nikim V'hol Asher Yehieh Itach Babayit Damo V'rosheni Im Yad Tiebo Va'im Tagidi Et Devarenu Zeh V'hayinu Nikim Mishuateh Asher Hishbatanu Vatomer Kedivrehem Kenhu Vatshalhem V'yelehu Vatikshor Et tikva tashani bahalon Vayahu Vayavu Hahara Vayashuvu Sham Sheloshet Yamim Ad Shavu Harot Fim Vayavakshu Harot Fim Behol Hadarech Velo Matza'u Vayashu Shnei Hanavashim Ve'er Di Mahar
Vayaru, Vayava'u, El Yehoshua, Bin Nun, Vayaspru, Lo, Et Kol Hamotzi Otam. Vayaru, El Yehoshua, Ki Natan, Adonai, Dabnu, Et Kol Haaretz, Vegam Namogu, Kol Yehoshev Haaretz, Mi Pananu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sorkol halim sadik bechol hadarot hayel haneman haomer ve'erseh hamdaber kayem shekol deberon emed v'sedek al haTorah ve'al hanavim ve'al yom hashbat hazer Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'nunucha l'to'otiv haaretz al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anaknu modim la umkaim ota yichbrashim ha bifikol ha ta'am leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
To both of you. And you can put your stuff down, but I have a feeling Rabbi Dana may want to say a word or two.
Oh, just a couple. Come on over here, Abby and Lila, so I can see you, and Rabbi Ruth and I can see you and offer you blessing. Oh, Abby and Lila, it has been a joy and a pleasure to work with both of you. Now, I remember our first meeting, and I remember that there was a bit of trepidation about this whole process from both of you. And as we stand here today, you know that I've joked with both of you about inviting you to help lead Torah for our community even during the High Holy Days. May we be so blessed. Lila, you were a tough nut to crack. You have a quiet nature, a gentle spirit. But once I actually heard the words of your Devar Torah and understood how much you appreciated and understood mindfulness and the way you tied it into the talit, I wondered about the chewing that goes underneath all of that and the way that you see the world and try to approach it with that mindfulness. And, of course, Ferris Bueller. Abby, you are a hoot. You have fun energy and a fun spirit. And you came to this process, albeit nervous like anyone would be, but you took on the challenge. You continued to push through, find ways to make it exciting for yourself. The thing that I'm most impressed with standing here today with both of you is how you overcame some of your own internal pieces, your own internal anxieties about this day and have approached this moment with so much confidence, compassion to yourselves, and with so much love and support from your family and friends. Rabbi Ruth and I, on this day, want to continue to honor you with a blessing in front of our ark from both of us, the oldest blessing in Jewish tradition, the priestly benediction. And so we'll offer this threefold blessing that ties you to the past generations, our present community, and of course, future generations, with the priestly benediction. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
Lila and Abby, may God bless you and keep you always.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
And may the light of the divine that emanates from you shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem lachem shalom.
And as you go forth on your journey as Benot Mitzvah, may you feel God's presence with you always, and may God always grant you peace. And let us say,
Amen. Can you hear Ratzon? Yasher Kochachem.
Beautiful. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Yeah. We can't stop saying how much we were appreciative.
It
So
really
beautifully done.
strikes me from
Great
what
job.
you said,
You're
Rabbi
awesome.
Dana, how much these young women are like our scouts who, Joshua and Caleb, who overcame their fears, as you say. So if you'll have a seat, please, because we always do want to make sure that we take a moment for memory, even on joyous events, even on Shabbat when we feel these blessings. We know that our blessings are enhanced by the memory of those who once stood by our side. And in particular, our B'nai Mitzvah students, B'not Mitzvah students, would like to remember these loved ones. And so Abby's family would like to remember Damien Kim, Gunther Lawrence, and Roger Wallens, Abby's grandfathers. And Lila's family would like to remember He Un Wang, Lila's grandfather. And then Frida and Ben Brown and Lisa and Paul Drucker, Lila's great grandparents. In addition, our community is remembering these folks who have died in the week that has passed. We remember our longtime member, Evelyn Kay, mother of Wayne, Sherry, and Eric, mother-in-law of David and Stacy, and grandmother of Alana and Emily. We're remembering Roberta Massoff, mother of Donna, grandmother of Noah, and Nancy Paris, mother of Carolyn, grandmother of Ellie, Ben, and Sophia Tershwell, as well as a longtime member, Robert Brown, husband of Sharon, father of Rebecca and Julia, father-in-law of Michael and Jason, and grandfather to Zach. Our community is remembering these loved ones who died at this season in years past: Karen Deutsch, Rala Ann Eisenberg, David Elkins, Saul Friedman, Max Greenberg, Thelma Grunbaum, Yevsey Gurevich, Hyman Harris, Ralph Herstein, Helene Caden, Vivian Kaplan, Leah Castleman, Aubrey Court, Stephen Krafchick, Joe Kraft, Maxine Levy, Harry Lipson, Lester Mintz, Jane Newberger, Beth Parker, Lily Ramrus, Jack Reingold, Albert Schneider, Israel Ben Shloma, Rachel Natasha Thompson, Burlette Tice, Min Yang Tung, Irvin Wolkenstein, and Elizabeth Zadek. We also include anyone that you would like to include in the chat, as well as all of those who have died at the hands of injustice or who have died because of this terrible COVID-19 pandemic. We turn now to page 27 for our Mourner's Kaddish. I invite you to rise or rise in spirit. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, Bialma divrach hirute v'yamlik malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchaye dekol Beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarak leolam olmei olmaya, Yit barak v'yit tabak v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit haleh v'yit halal shemei dekudasha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiran bi'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru. Amen. Zikronam livracha. May their memories be for blessing. Please be seated if you are standing. And Abby and Lila, you may have noticed there are some books and boxes with a special treat in it. We have gifts on behalf of our community, and I am so thrilled to welcome Sarah Jensen via Zoom, who would like to tell you a little bit about these gifts.
Good morning, everybody.
You can put more mazel tovs in the chat if you didn't get a chance to say it out loud.
And so wonderful. And I'm going to say you two have earned having a seat if you'd like to sit down. But I have to say it's wrong of me to use the word adorable, but you both are like cut out of central casting of Benot Mitzvah. So wonderful. What a special morning this is. And I just invite you to look on our website. Actually, next week, we hope you'll join us on Zoom, especially on Friday evening. We are celebrating a simcha. Rabbi Dana and her beloved Gina are going off to Michigan to finally complete their marriage experience post-COVID, and so we will be sending them off with a blessing. And then at 10:30 next Saturday morning, we have another wonderful B'nai Mitzvah experience as well as Shabbat services. And then the following week, we hope if you would like to join us in person, we of course will still be online. But June 18th, out in the courtyard, we're going to have a very special Our Shabbat table where actually we will be gathered together. You must RSVP for that. The information will be online. I will say that Rabbi Dana and Gina will be busy getting married, so we're so grateful that Shoshana Stamba will be joining us that evening to help us celebrate. Lots of other great stuff going on, but first we got to sweeten this Shabbat, and so I'm going to invite the Signer Hill family, Devorah, Jerry, Nat, and Noah, to do Kiddush. I believe they're friends of your family, Lila, so take it away.
Because we love and know both
Okay, so we are going to invite then anyone who might have a piece of challah to hold it up for the camera. And does the Signer Hill family have it? It looks like maybe, yes. Woo! This is like Rabbi Dana was saying before services that being Jewish is time traveling. This feels like time traveling too. Awesome. Go for it, Signer Hill family. Beautiful blessings, beautiful Shabbat morning. And so we're so grateful to all of you who are participating, whether online or here in person. Huge todah rabbah to Lila, to Abby for making this such a special morning. And also thank you to Cole Sims, the wind beneath our wings of our services. And so, they say that Shabbat is a taste of the world to come, a time when we feel a sense of shalom, of wholeness. May it come to be. So Rabbi Dana, would you close us out with Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu?
I'd be honored to. Join with me. If you're in the room, please clap. Please, hum or sing lightly along. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Pick it up. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
Shabbat Shalom! Shabbat Shalom, everyone!
Shabbat Shalom! was
Shabbat.
fun.